It took me a while to recognize it, but turns out I'm depressed. Yep, you heard that right. I'm depressed. And I only realized it when I wasn't being creative anymore. Here, let me explain. You see, all my life, I've always been making stuff. That may be taking photography, drawing, writing, designing, coming up with ideas for new videos, or whatever else. I'm always making something. But not too long ago, I stopped.
Lift yourself up on your feet. Let's get it on. We've been fooling around.
I couldn't tell you exactly why I did, though. Too much family drama? Money problems? I don't know. Maybe it was because my computer kicked the bucket for like a month, and most of the art that I like to make requires a computer. That's probably a really bad crutch, huh? Having to depend on such a specific tool to be creative? Oh well. But yeah, when I wasn't making anything, it hit me like a pile of bricks. The whole depression thing, I mean. Apparently, all this time I was using my creativity as a means of escapism. Huh. Now that I say that out loud, I'm realizing how that's probably not that rare of a thing, right? Like, there's so much art that came from the artist being in a terrible moment in their life. It almost feels like 50% of all the art in the world comes from sad people. But I always associated escapism with the consumption of art, never with the actual creation of it for some reason. You know, for me, escapism was just getting buried in a great anime, or turning off all the lights and listening to Frank Ocean's Blonde for the 50th time. This may sound weird, but hear me out. I feel like sometimes that sensation of coping with depression is actually kind of comforting. Of course, I'm not saying that I like depression or anything, because that would obviously be nuts. But I don't know, haven't you ever had that experience of feeling really emotional? So you snuggle up with a warm blanket, make some hot chocolate, turn the AC all the way up, and binge the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You know, the one you tore into the day before. Legally purchased from your local Blockbuster? Anyways, depression is weird, man. Some people have a much easier time expressing what it feels to have it. Not me, though. I don't know, it's kind of like you're sad, but not like the first 5 minutes of Up where you're bawling your eyes out. It's more like a somber feeling, like a sadness that just follows you wherever you go. While you're eating, when you're watching TV, playing a game, talking to your friends, it's always there, no matter how far you move. I think the worst part about depression is that you start to lose hope. Everything starts to lose meaning. But you know, oddly enough, that's actually where my creativity kicks in. It's kind of a twisted thing, right? Like, really? Now of all times, this is when I'm gonna get my best ideas when I don't have the motivation to do anything? It almost sounds like a sick joke. Sometimes I feel like maybe imagination is just a defense mechanism. A defense mechanism that helps us deal with the hardships of life. Could be, right? You know, being an artist can lead to difficult times quite often in life. There's so many times where you feel like you can't relate to most people. Like, your friends move on and get further in life, and you're stuck in the same place, desperately clinging to the hope that someday you'll be able to be creative for a living. No matter how unlikely it probably is. You just keep fantasizing that maybe one day you'll end up being the new Brockhampton member or something crazy like that. But even with all that, I still love being an artist because it's who I am. I've always been this way, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Plus, that constant search for creativity honestly makes me enjoy life more. It gives me motivation, it gives me meaning. I find inspiration from the simplest, most mundane things. Art adds color to my world. And no, I don't care how cheesy that sounds. It's true. Anyways, if there is such a thing as healthy escapism, then I think this is it. Hey, don't get me wrong. I love consuming art as much as the next guy. You know, playing games, watching movies and stuff. You don't need me to tell you how essential that part of life is, but when I get lost in an idea and execute it, and then I look at the thing I just created from nothing and actually like the results and have something to be proud of, man, that feeling is priceless. And hey, I don't want anyone to feel like this is the only way to deal with these types of feelings. No, not at all. This is just what works for me. And hey, if you're not into being creative and making stuff, then just keep searching until you find that thing that will help you move past these emotions. And even if you keep telling yourself that no such thing exists for you, trust me, it does.
It to see.
Something like this exists for everyone. You just have to keep searching. Eventually, you'll become so strong that these types of feelings won't be no thing. You'll be all like, depression?
Bye, Felicia.
Let's get it on.